We are in the wood heat showrooms, and on this segment I'm here with Mike. And Mike, there's a lot of different ways to start fires. I know you're going to educate us a little bit on how to start a fire and tell us a little bit about what we're standing in front of here, because people have different kinds of stoves, wood stoves, and maybe they have their way of starting it, but maybe it's not the correct way. Maybe you can help us out with that.
Yes, there is a correct way to light your wood stove. The stove that we are in front of here is a Quadrifire 3100 step top. First thing you're going to want to do on any stove is open up your primary air control. On this Quadrifire here, the two controls need to be pushed all the way in. Now you have as much air going inside the firebox as possible.
Okay, that would be like step one.
That would be step one. Step two would be to get all your wood together, your kindling, your bigger pieces, and your substantial pieces for burning. Many people don't know this, but the best way to start your fire is actually from the top down.
Okay, and why would that be? So what's happening is you want to actually light it on the top?
You do want to light it on the top. What you're doing is what's called priming the flue. Your flue is probably going to be a little cold, so you have cold air rushing down the chimney, and you want that air to go the opposite direction. You want it to go upward. And so by starting the fire on top, you're heating the air, and now it is starting to go upward.
Yeah, that is different, because I would think that, in most cases, all of us, the old Boy Scout thinking is get that fire underneath there, right?
That is true. Most people do feel that is the best way to do it, but in actuality, in the newer stoves, they are very tight. They don't need as much air. It is better to start on the top.
So how would you then go about this? Do you use kindling? What are you doing?
Best thing to do is use kindling, some smaller pieces of wood, some twigs, or whatever you have around. I would say you want to take your bigger pieces, put them on the bottom, take some smaller pieces, put on top of there, and then your smallest of pieces, which we call the kindling, right on top of that.
And that's what you want to light.
And that's what you want to light. A lot of people like to use fire starters. Makes your life a little bit easier, and start the fire starter and go from there.
Now, when you're starting the fire and you are getting that little kindling going, what's your next step? What are you looking for?
Next step is, once you get an established fire in there, on the Quadrifire brand here, you're going to turn part of the air off. That's going to be with your handle on the right-hand side there. What that's doing, it's actually shutting off an air supply to the back of the stove. And the rest of the air is going to be taken care of in three other parts of the stove.
Okay, and as that begins to happen, it starts to get a stronger flame?
It will start to get a stronger flame. And once you get a really established fire in there, your bigger pieces of wood are burning on the bottom. Then your second step is going to be control your secondary air. And you want to burn that somewhere around halfway open.
Okay. Now, is that the final step, or then what's happening?
That's pretty much your final step. After that, it's just maintaining the fire by adding 3, 4, or 5 pieces of wood, whatever it's going to take for you.
Now, these stoves put out quite a bit of heat, and what is the right amount of, how high should you stoke it up, or how many pieces should you put in it?
I like to put at least 4 or 5 pieces of wood in there at a time, keep it burning. You can load it all the way up to the top if you want for an overnight burn. You can have it burn for 8 to 10 hours if you'd like.
Well, once it's burning, I guess you have your routine maintenance. Like, what are you doing? How are you maintaining it while it's burning? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. All you're going to do is you're just going to keep an eye on the air control here, and that's going to be your main control. And you're just going to add every couple of hours 4 or 5 pieces of wood, and that's the maintenance of it.
Now, other than when you're burning it, what other things should you do to maintain your wood stove?
You're going to want to clean it a couple of times a week. You want to take some ash out of it. You don't want to take all the ash out. You want to leave at least a couple of inches of ash in the bottom. What that's going to do for you is it's good insulation for this stove. There's always hot coals in that ash. That's an easier way to start your fire with hot coals than it is from a stone cold stove.
Okay, so you want to leave those in. Just curiosity, but how often should you be checking your actual pipes going out to see if they need to be cleaned?
You want to get your chimney cleaned at least once a year. Typically, sometime in the summer, prior to the burn season, have a chimney sweep come out and sweep the whole chimney and make sure it's still in good working condition.
All right, are we leaving anything out, or is there anything we want to let people thinking about? Obviously, maybe people have their own little ways of starting it. Some people like to probably throw in those, fire starters? Or
the fire starters are a very handy tool. I personally use them myself. A lot of people, it's just an easier way to start a fire for you.
Yeah. How about those big flame things? They use those too?
The big Duralogs are not advised in the newer stoves. You want to use the smaller briquettes is what you'd want to use.
Okay. Well, we're learning how to start a fire properly, and we're at the Wood Heat Showroom. And, again, is there anything we left out, or just wrap it up? I guess the thing is just come in, get your stove, and get started.
That's about it. We could go over it again for you and go over everything you need.
Well, Mike and I are in front of the fire. We started earlier, and it has really come along. Mike, this thing has really got some great flames. Tell us again what the unit is and what's going on there, because I've seen fires, but this really is an attractive-looking fire.
This is the Quadrifire Step Top 3100.
And it's very efficient looking. Now you're going to show us how it works. I mean, this has some controls that allow you to make that flame really produce heat.
Yes, you do have two air controls with your Quadrifire wood stove. There are 4 spots where the air is being introduced into the stove, which is giving you a very efficient burn on the stove.
Now, when you pull the levers and change the air, tell us what's going on. What do you do first?
What you're going to first do is turn down your primary air supply. That's going to shut air off to the back of the stove. You still have 3 more spots inside the stove where the air is being controlled. That's going to be by your secondary air control.
Okay, and when you do that, you can actually see the flame, slow down?
You can see the flame slow down. You're going to have less turbulence inside. You can get a longer, slower burn. It may not be quite as hot, but you can get an overnight burn that way.
And the advantage to, of course, the homeowner or the person that's doing this is the wood will last longer?
The wood will last longer. You get heat throughout the night. This particular stove, you can get roughly 8 to 10 hour burn out of it at nighttime. So while you're sleeping, you can still produce heat for the house.
So I guess you have to fill it up pretty good, get that thing burning nice and slow, and then relax and go to bed.
Yep, you will want to fill that firebox up as much as you possibly can. Turn the air supply all the way down so you do get that slow burn.
Now, how many BTUs was this particular unit?
This particular unit is going to be roughly 40,000 BTUs.
And there's different sizes, right?
There are different sizes in between as well, all the way up to a 70,000 BTU, all the way down to roughly a 20,000 BTU.
Mike and I are in front of a different, really warm fire here, and Mike, tell me about this one, because this is a different stove. It's a Yodel.
This is a different stove, Art. It's the Yodel Oslo F500. The company is based out of Norway. What we have on this stove is it's an all cast iron stove, from the firebox to the face that you're looking at as well.
Well, from where we're standing, it feels really warm. What are some of the features and benefits here, or how do what do you do to control this fire?
The Yodel brand is a very heavy stove, so you do get a lot of heat out of it. This particular stove is good for about 2,000 square feet. Some of the benefits out of this stove is you have a front loading door. You also have a side loading door as well. For your overnight burn, you can put your logs in lengthwise, stack them up to the top of the baffle inside.
Nice. So now, is there anything different when you start this fire? What does it take to get a good raging fire? You have this fire going. I mean, it's just cooking here. It looks great. Any tips on how do you get that going?
The Yodel is a little bit harder to start. They only have 1 air control, and you may have to crack either your front or your side door. It is a very tight stove, so that may be one of the tricks you'll have to learn with the stove. And like I said, there is only 1 air control on the stove, and that's going to be right in the front.
Okay, so what you're doing there is you're opening your air control, putting in your kindling again as you did before, and away you go.
It's the same as with the Quadrifire brand, just 1 air control. Maybe you're going to need a little bit of a trick to get it started though.
Anything we're leaving out? I mean, do these basically all come in black, or they're different colors?
There are a couple different colors for the Yodel. We're looking at the black. It comes in a blue-black. They also have an ivory stove as well.
And what did you say the BTUs were?
BTUs, this one's about 50,000 BTUs.
That's pretty big. So you can get different varieties of that, so depending on what space you want to heat.
You can. The biggest one gets up to about 70,000 BTUs, and there's a range in between.
Well, now that we found out